Because if you want what some people consider a high value man or a man who's very accomplished, he's more likely to put more value on your feminine energy. So now he pulls away, not because he did not like you or wasn't serious about you, but he didn't feel like you were serious about him. You've already said it to him. You've already shouted it from the rooftops, and he still has changed nothing. Why are you still there? And when you do, you will get what's best for you, and you will have healthier relationships and greater success in that area. Now, I'm not going to lie to you, ladies. These types of videos, I feel some kind of way about, all right? And I'll explain more in detail why, but I'll say from the jump, I feel some kind of way about it because a lot of videos like this tend to try to teach you guys tricks and games to play to pique a man's interest. And that can become very problematic because now in playing this game, a lot of times you end up playing yourself, as well as you're trying to get a man that you want but you don't need and is not truly best for you. And so I really want you to be mindful of that in regards to, like, is this dude really, this man really best for you? Is this really what you need? Is this really going to work in the long term? Because jumping through all these hoops or doing all these different things to make him want you can end up with you becoming more hurt and damaged. All right. But I do want to give you first some tips that can increase your desirability to a man, can draw his attention more, in a healthy way. Again, because I don't like the whole playing games and tricks, but I do think there's things that we can tap into as individuals that help us achieve the results that we're looking for. All right, so let me give you some quick ones, and then I got a very important message I need you to hear at the end. So tip number one, find your confidence. All right, the reality is that confidence looks good on everybody. Confidence is sexy, all right? And when you are a confident woman, you're going to stand out more. You're going to be able to catch his interest more. Because essentially, a confident woman, even a confident person, but specifically in this video, we're talking about you as a woman, a confident woman conveys a understanding of her value to the man. When you're confident, it's like, I know I'm good stuff. I know what I bring to the table. And it makes a man say, well, dang, if she's that confident, I want a piece of that. I want to know what's all this good stuff she got. And I'm not talking about just sex. I'm like overall you as a woman. All right. So, and it's the same thing again. When you see a confident man, it makes you feel like, well, dang, what has he got? I might want some of that too. You know, that's a very natural occurrence when someone exudes confidence. So as a woman, you've got to find your confidence, because if you are very insecure around this man, if you don't feel good about yourself, if you're not confident, that is usually going to backfire on you. That's usually going to work against you. And so if you are lacking in confidence, locate the areas that hinder it. Figure out, okay, what can I improve that helps me feel more confident? It might be finding the style that works with you. When I say style, your style of clothes, because again, certain people can put on a certain outfit and it doesn't feel good. Like you don't like the way you look in it. And if you don't like the way you look, you won't be confident. And then you can put a different style of outfit, and the style is up to you and what works for you. Everyone's different. But when you find that style that speaks to you and that you feel good in, now you're going to exude that confident energy. So be confident. Find your confidence. Be confident. Number two, exude that positive and feminine energy. All right. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to lean more towards positivity in this one, simply because depending on the man you want, and again, like I said, you need to be really mindful of who you think you want and if they're really best for you. But depending on the man you want, femininity may or may not be as high of a priority. Because if you want what some people consider a high value man or a man who's very accomplished, he's more likely to put more value on your feminine energy. If, let's say you're young, this guy's in high school, he may not even understand the whole feminine thing. Even though I would still argue it still helps in most cases, it's possible some guys want a tough girl, you know, and I wouldn't want you to try to be acting hard and tough. That's not who you are. and in most cases, that's not who you are. And we'll explain that in a whole different video. But the point is that it can vary depending on the type of guy that you want and where you are in your life. So with that said, though, positive energy tends to still be across the board a desirable thing that at least catches a man's attention and draws a man to you. I will say that positivity and femininity is more likely to draw you a healthy man, all right? But again, that aside, positive energy. So you have to find that within yourself, find that happiness, find that joy, because again, who wants to be around a miserable person? Who wants to be around a negative Nancy? That's not what the typical person desires. Hell, a woman doesn't want all that negativity around her either. Why would a man? So as a woman, tapping into that positivity is definitely going to make you more desirable and make him want you. Number 3, showing and expressing interest. All right. So here's the thing that a lot of women overlook. If you notice, the woman who is willing to flirt, compliment, show interest, she can get a lot further with a lot more guys, because that showing of interest definitely catches a man's attention, because men are so used to being the ones that have to show the interest, have to pursue the woman, have to in some cases chase, even though I do not co-sign chasing. But because they're so used to being in that position, all right, and not having the woman always really be expressive about her desire and interest, when a woman does that, that hits hard. That really grabs his attention. And hell, there's a lot of men who like the women that like them. Like if there's other desirable things about her, because simply liking him doesn't guarantee you're going to get him. Let's just be honest here. But if he already sees you as desirable and then you express interest in him, it doesn't mean pursue him. It doesn't mean you have to ask him on a date. Compliment him, learning how to flirt, all of these things. So flirtation and showing interest kind of go hand in hand. These things are definitely going to make him want you more, because that makes him feel good. And that's a very important thing to remember. The man truly wants the woman that he feels good when he's with, the woman that knows how to tap into his desires. And though we say the word stroke his ego, and many people put a negative connotation on that, let's be realistic. Everyone likes their ego stroked. Everyone likes to feel wanted and desired, men and women. So when a man gets that from a woman, it is very powerful. All right. So there's other things we can talk about, but I really want to stay on a healthier approach to quote unquote making him want you. But let's focus on that, making him want you. Here's the thing. There has to be a level of desire in that man already for you. All right. You can pique his interest. You can create a level of more desirability, but I don't want you to think you can force it out of him. I don't want you to try to get a man to want you who's showing you he doesn't. It's one thing when maybe he's holding back because he doesn't know that you have interest. It's another thing if he's shy, whatever the case may be. But if that guy is already dismissing you, not showing interest, I don't want you getting caught up in this cat and mouse game of trying to get him to now chase after you and want you. Because the problem is, even if you succeed, it is typically going to be a momentary thing that it isn't sustainable. So yes, you may be able to switch the interest of a man who's been dismissing you or showing that he doesn't want to be with you for various reasons. But then after he gets you, will he be willing to pour into you? Will he be willing to have a healthy relationship with you? Will he even be willing to be serious with you? Because yeah, he may now want you to go have sex. He may want you to go entertain him for the night. But does he actually want to build something with you? So what I really want, here's the important message I want you to listen to. You got to focus on connection. You got to focus on not just who you want as a man, who you connect with, who has a mutual desire with you, who's on the same page with you. Yes, you should still embrace the positive energy, the showing the desire, the being confident, all these things. I want you to be your best self, because in being your best self, you will attract the man who is best for you. That's the key. It's not about the man you want. A lot of women have gotten the man they want and still ended up miserable. Still ended up in a dead-end relationship, dead-end marriage. It's gone completely left because who they wanted wasn't who they needed. Who they wanted, they didn't have a true connection with. We got to start there. And when we find that connection, everything else can fall into place. You won't have to do any tips and tricks with the guy you have a real connection with. You will simply have to reciprocate his efforts. You have to make sure you put your best foot forward, and he has to make sure he puts his best foot forward. But you guys will be able to flow together, love each other, pour into each other, and have an amazing relationship. So if you came to this video trying to figure out how to get that specific man to want you, I want you to pray about it. If you're not a believer, then that won't apply, and I understand. But if you are a believer, I highly want to encourage you to pray, should you even be entertaining this man? Does God want this man for you? Because if he's not that guy, I don't want you wasting a second of your time and energy on this man who doesn't belong in your life anyway. It won't be for your own good if you try to make things work with a man who does not align with you, who is not the man God has for you, who does not have a connection with you. So I hope and pray as always that you embrace this message, that you found this video helpful. When a man pulls away, it can be a very frustrating and hurtful experience. But if you're not mindful of how to handle it, there are some mistakes that you may do or have done. Let's get into these 5 mistakes women make. Now, listen, when I say 5 mistakes women make, that doesn't mean I'm trying to make it your fault or put the responsibility on you in regards to him pulling away. However, I've seen these situations go left or go more left, all right, because clearly they already took a wrong turn, and not knowing how to handle it can not only just make things worse as far as the potential of that specific situation, but how you move forward from there and how you're able to bounce back and now receive a better opportunity for it to come your way. All right. So with that said, let's get into it. Number 1 mistake women make when men pull away. Oh, and real quick, there's various reasons why men will pull away. There's a video I have about 5 reasons why men pull away. The link, you'll see it flash on the screen. Click that if you want to watch that, but be sure to watch this first. All right, so you understand the mistakes and then go understand the reasons why the man even pulls away. But let's just focus on the mistakes. So number 1 mistake that women make when a man pulls away: not expressing how you feel. Now, this was very important for me to say because I saw a few videos on this topic that mentioned the mistake being telling him how you feel, that it is wrong, all right, or a bad decision to make to express how you feel to him. And some of you may agree, but I'm here to tell you that is wrong. You should express how you feel. Understand this, from the position of a coach, me, all right, one of the biggest issues in relationships and dating is lack of communication. There are so many individuals who are making assumptions of what happened, what's going on, and reacting off of that rather than gaining clarity or giving clarity in the situation. And it's that lack of communication that creates confusion. The confusion creates chaos, and then the whole thing blows up. So you have some situations where 2 people could have easily resolved the problem by simply talking about it or by simply having known how the other person felt. But because that did not occur, there is no resolution. But not only is there not a resolution or the forwarding of that relationship, the individual who has not expressed themselves is more than likely now going to carry damage, emotional baggage with them, because you have now suppressed your emotions, suppressed your feelings, and you're carrying that with you to the next situation. That's extremely unhealthy. So not simply for the sake of, can we fix this current situation with the guy pulling away? No, for the sake of your emotional health, you should express yourself. It is always great to get things off your chest in a calm, loving manner, as best as possible, calm and loving. All right. Therefore, you can walk away knowing I spoke my piece. They know where I stand. They know how I feel. Now, again, some situations that man may discover something that he was not aware about that can now create reconciliation, or it may simply expose even more that he was not serious, he's not the one for you, whatever. Either way, you're going to have much better closure, a greater ability to move forward, and you won't risk carrying emotional baggage with you. So do not make the mistake of not expressing how you feel. Second mistake women make when men pull away is internalizing the issue. All right. So as in my other video, the reasons why men pull away, one of the things I mentioned is that you don't always know what happened. All right. And it could be various reasons. And sometimes the man pulling away has nothing to do with the woman herself. It could be something tragic happened in his life or something that he does not know how to handle properly. It could be, again, he could have met somebody new. All right. There's various things that can happen that could be completely out of your control. But one of the mistakes that women make is that they internalize why he pulled away. They immediately make it about what was wrong with me, what did I do wrong? And listen, you should not be beating yourself up like that. Now, granted, there are going to be situations, if we're going to be completely honest, where our behavior could be the catalyst to somebody walking away from us. That's the reality. But if you don't know what the reason is, there's no reason for you to beat yourself up trying to overanalyze something that you're not going to get a clear answer from. Now, if you know deep inside there were some things that you handled improperly, that's different. But I don't want you to beat yourself up about it. I simply want you to reflect on it, understand it, make the corrections. That's it. All right. But if you don't have any clue, any idea what went wrong, don't start trying to grasp at different straws. Don't start trying to ask 10 different people what's their opinions. And now you have all these different scenarios playing in your head, because all that's doing is driving you crazy. You're not getting any peace from this. And again, if he's not giving you the clarity, then you're not going to be able to get it by trying to guess. You can't come up with the answer yourself. So there's going to be times where we just have to accept they just weren't for us. And that's the reality. Sometimes you can be an amazing woman, an amazing human being. You could be someone that he actually views as a good woman, but that doesn't mean he viewed you as the woman for him. So him walking away doesn't mean there's something wrong with you per se. It just means that the connection wasn't there or the fit isn't right. You know what I'm saying? And better that we acknowledge that early on than to force a relationship or, in many scenarios, force a marriage with two people who don't really belong together. All right. So again, do not internalize when he walks away, but always be willing to hold yourself accountable for where you know. And that's like the key. The key is, you know, when you've behaved or you've done things that were unhealthy or may have caused problems in any relationship. The number 3 mistake that women make when men pull away is acting like you don't care. Key word, acting. All right. Trying to fake disinterest and act like it doesn't bother you because you don't want to give him that satisfaction or that power over you, or whatever the case may be. It may make sense to you. And I'm sure there's some of you right now that's questioning, well, why would that be a mistake? It's a mistake because it's unhealthy. It's a mistake because, again, one, connecting back to the number 1 reason, when you have not fully expressed yourself or how you feel, let's just say there's a scenario where guy is dating you, guy is making effort, but he doesn't feel like you're giving the effort back. He doesn't feel like you're reciprocating the interest and desire. So now he pulls away, not because he did not like you or wasn't serious about you, but he didn't feel like you were serious about him. So now, in that scenario, if you act like you don't care, if you fake disinterest, you've only killed the situation even more, without realizing that had you simply let him know, hey, this is how I feel, I do like you. Maybe you were holding back because you were scared. Maybe you were holding back because you just feel like you want to be extra cautious because you've jumped too far ahead in your past. Whatever it is, simply saying that may have solved the issue. But instead, you go into faking like you don't care, and you may kill the potential of that relationship if it could go somewhere. Or, going back to what I mentioned earlier, you acting disinterested is unhealthy because you're suppressing your real feelings and desires. And so now that acting like you don't care becomes a toxic cycle. It also becomes a suppression of emotions. It becomes a lack of healing that you will now carry with you into other relationships. So one way or another, don't play the game. And that's the other thing. It's a game. When you act, keyword again, act like you don't care, you're playing a game. And if you watch any of my videos, you know I'm not about those games. And I'm not going to encourage any of you to be playing any games. So check that at the door. Leave that alone. Be true to who you are. Express yourself. If you do care, it's okay. It's okay to accept and acknowledge that you care about something that hurts you, that is bothering you. That's how you work through those emotions. That's how you get to your healing. To heal, you must face the pain. So don't act like it doesn't bother you when it does. And that way you can address it properly and resolve it, whether it turns into reconciliation with that individual or you being able to properly move on from that man. The number 4 mistake women make when a man pull away, and quick mention, get your copy of The Man God Has For You. I forgot to bring it in this video. That is my fault. But listen, if you follow me, you've probably seen the cover already. Either way, you can go to Amazon or click the link in the description or in the comments section, or go to www.themangodhasforyou.com. All right? Best-selling book. Women are loving it. Let's get back to number 4. So number 4 mistake that women make when men pull away is compromising your true desires to get him back. So let me just give a scenario. You meet a man, you like him, you guys are dating, everything's going well, all right? You want a relationship. He seems to be leaning towards just wanting to go with the flow and be casual, all right? So now he pulls away, and you sense that he's pulling away because maybe you are putting on the pressure too much about this whole relationship thing. And so in order to get him back, you now go back to him saying, okay, well, let's just try this casual thing, or, I want to give it a chance. You try to find some way to compromise your true desires to appease him and get him back in your life. That is a huge mistake. And it's a huge mistake for so many different reasons. One, you will never be truly happy and at peace if you're not being true to yourself and what you desire in that situation. You want a relationship? Stand strong on that. You want to get married one day? Stand strong in that. Do not waver from that because you want so badly to get this specific man in your life. Ain't no man worth you compromising your true values and desires. Plain and simple. Not to mention now that you're bringing him back on false pretenses. So if you bring him back hoping that I'll play this game of the casual dating for now, hoping I can change his mind later, all right, you're only setting yourself up for bigger disappointment and to have him mad and frustrated at you because he was real with you from day one and said, I only wanted a casual situation. This is just a disaster waiting to happen. There's nothing good that's going to come out of that stuff. And all you're now doing is setting yourself up to be more attached to this individual rather than working on moving on from this individual. So never compromise what your true desires are. You know what you want. If he's not on the same page as you, so be it. Let him move on. I'm just going to mention this real quick. There was a study that was done that tried to find the key things that increases a woman's chances of being married. And one of those things was not settling for dead-end relationships and not wavering from the fact that they wanted to be married. So those women who were able to receive that great man and marriage in their life were women who recognized quickly when a man was wasting their time and cut him loose. Recognized quickly when they weren't on the same page and wanted two different things and cut him loose. Those women did not drag along these situations hoping for things to change. So do not make that mistake. And now number 5, the last reason or the last mistake women make when men pull away is moving on to cope rather than healing. All right. So I'm sure some of you have heard the saying, the quickest way to get over somebody is to get under somebody. Horrible advice. Horrible advice, all right? And I'll do another video to explain why that's so bad, because there's a lot to speak on rebound relationships, okay? However, when you are moving on to cope, you're not resolving the real issue. And you're not realizing that you are now dragging that pain and that damage, that emotional baggage with you. And so now what this sets you up for in almost all cases is, number 1, you are not likely to get with the right person if you try to move on and date when you haven't healed. Most people are going to engage with other unhealthy individuals, other people who may feel emotionally safer to deal with because they don't make you feel vulnerable in that way. And they don't make you feel vulnerable in that way because you're not into them like that. You don't have that connection with them. So you're going to settle for that because it feels safe. But that's going to be the wrong choice, the wrong person. So you're guaranteed to have an unhealthy, An unhealthy relationship, a relationship that's not going to last in the long term, and it's not going to be fulfilling at all. Not to mention, you now risk damaging someone else because you're dragging them into your web of unhealthiness and lack of healing, and that creates another cycle with them and who they move on to. It's just a huge freaking mess. So listen, if a man pulls away from you and you are hurt, heal. Heal. Focus on resolving that properly. Now, the things I mentioned 1 through 4 are going to help you with that, or help make sure you stay on the right track so that you can focus on healing rather than coping. Coping does not cure anything. It just shows you how to manage it in the moment, but it's just something that's waiting to explode any day. You're going to get triggered and it's going to all come out. Don't set yourself up for that kind of disaster. Heal, do what's necessary. If you need help with healing, check out the book Love After Heartbreak. But again, you've got to heal. Now, I'm just going to be real with you. I looked at this topic and I said, this is not healthy. This isn't the right way to do things. Listen, there are some things that psychologically you can do to quote unquote make him miss you. But what you got to ask yourself is, if you have to go through all of that, are you even with the right guy? What you should have to do if you feel like your man is neglecting you or doesn't seem like he misses you is simply talk to him. When you engage in these tips and tricks to make him miss you, you are creating a more dysfunctional environment in your relationship. So for example, one tip that floats around is don't say to him that you miss him, or pull back on your communication. But let me explain something to you. If you're dealing with the wrong guy, number one, it may not even faze him. So you might pull back communication, you might not tell him you miss him, and he doesn't care. And now you become infuriated and consumed with trying to get his attention, trying to be validated by this man who doesn't even belong in your life. So now you've played yourself because you're trying to get someone to react who doesn't give a damn about you. But let's just say he actually does care about you, and life got the best of him and he has lost sight of what you need and the attention that he's not giving you. Well, when you pull back that communication, now he starts to think you don't love him. You don't care about him anymore. Now he may react in dysfunction to your dysfunctional reaction. And that's not to insult you, but I gotta call it what it is. We can't play these games and think we're gonna get a positive result from it. It's only going to create more chaos and confusion. So the best approach always is to talk to the man. Because if he truly loves you, if he truly cares about you, then you simply making it known that you don't feel valued, you don't feel missed, you feel neglected, will get his attention and cause him to want to do better. Whereas if he doesn't care about you, he will expose himself in that conversation. But I feel the need to tell you that, listen, you've got to be real honest with yourself, because some of you have seen the red flags. Some of you have seen that man does not care enough about you or isn't fully invested in you. You've already said it to him. You've already shouted it from the rooftops, and he still has changed nothing. Why are you still there? Why are you looking for videos on how to make him miss you? The answer is right in front of your face. He's not for you. And you got to stop beating the dead horse and think you're going to make this thing change or make him want you more. Yes, you may get him to want you more in the moment, but if he's not truly into you, it's not sustainable. So what are you going to do? You're going to all the time look to play a certain game, push a certain button whenever you don't feel like you're getting the love for him that you deserve? No. If talking to him is not enough, that means he needs to be removed from your life. And you should not have to engage in this tit for tat and all this little playing of games and mental games just to get him to show you more love and attention. You got to recognize when you're dealing with the wrong person, or when you're dealing with the right guy who simply needs to be reminded of what you need. Because it can happen. Life can get the best of someone, and sometimes people don't realize how they've fallen off in certain ways. But again, all it takes is an honest, transparent conversation. But let me also say this before we wrap this up. If you really want him to miss you and he's the right guy for you, make sure that you not only make it known to him, but that you pour more love into that man. Listen, you're not going to get love and positive energy by pouring negativity into the situation. You've got to up your game, because in being caught up in how you feel, you may not be realizing that you're neglecting him too, that you're not giving him what he needs in certain areas. So be sure that when you come to that conversation, don't just make it about what you feel is lacking, that he's not doing for you, but open yourself up to hearing what he has to say about your behavior or what you may be neglecting. And when you can do that, and both of you guys can get on the same page, now you can have a healthy resolution to this issue and truly get what you both deserve. So I hope that helps. And I'm sorry if you were looking for more specific tips, but I don't want you engaging in unhealthy behavior. I want you to go about this the best way possible to get the best results and to only entertain and deal with someone who is truly best for you. So today's video is 3 reasons why you should not let him chase you. Now, I want to hear your opinion in the poll, but I'm going to explain to you why this is actually a huge mistake on your end. Now, I have a video for men on 3 reasons why they should not chase a woman from the male perspective of why it's not good for them. This video is specifically why it's not good for you. All right? Because you hear a lot of women saying, oh, you got to let the man chase you. You got to find a man who loves you more than you love him. There's videos all over YouTube about let him chase you, get him to chase you, all these things. Listen, this is a huge, huge mistake. So I'm going to lay out the 3 reasons, but I need you to listen to the very end, because after I give you the 3 reasons, I'm going to explain something very important to you as something that you need to understand about this whole letting him chase you dynamic. Very important, so listen to the end. Anyways, number 1 reason why you should not let him chase you. Because typically if he chases you, it's infatuation, not love. Here's what I have found in all my years of doing this and examining so many scenarios and so many relationships. When men are willing to chase, they are typically locked into the fantasy, the hype, the infatuation they have towards this woman. Now, I'm not going to sit here and say no man who has ever chased did not love a woman. I'm not saying that is not possible. What I am saying is that in most situations, infatuation is the true driver of that situation. And so if it's not really about genuine love, then we're already setting the wrong foundation for this relationship. Because here's the reality. Most men, and I would say this changes some as the man gets older. As a man gets older, he's been through more things. He may have been hurt before. Chasing a woman can become very hurtful. Trying to show and prove your love to someone who is making you jump through hoops, who has walls up, who is resisting your desire to express this to her or to embrace you, wanting to be with her in any kind of way, that is really going to hurt. It's going to cause a problem for that guy. And so I always say it's easier for a man to chase to chase lust than it is to chase love. And I'm simply saying that in lust, you don't feel the pain as much. Her resistance doesn't hit down deep in your spirit the same. You're so locked into what you want, what you desire on the surface, that you see it almost as a game, a conquest. Again, you're just not as deterred because lust doesn't bring out the vulnerability. When you are loving this woman, when they are truly into you and truly desire you, and there's love that's driving them, now your resistance hurts because they're vulnerable. Consider essentially it's almost like their heart is on the outside of their chest. They're more exposed. So now any resistance, anything that goes against them trying to love you will hurt them. Whereas if they're in lust, in infatuation, they can deal with it. So what happens with a lot of women is you start to think sometimes that the guy who chases, the guy who won't quit coming after you, actually loves you. He doesn't. He's just infatuated. He's just locked into what he wants. And again, I'm not saying it's impossible that a man can love a woman in that dynamic. I'm telling you, in the vast majority of situations, that's not what's going on. It may be presented as love. Some people may fall for it and think it's love, but it's actually infatuation, obsession, other unhealthy things. And so I've seen scenarios where one guy will keep chasing, who was infatuated. The other guy, who was actually in love with that woman, falls back. But again, he doesn't fall back because he doesn't truly want you. He doesn't fall back because he doesn't have genuine intentions for you. He falls back because he cannot take the resistance. He can't deal with the fact that he loves this woman who is not embracing him. But again, women, many, will fall for the idea that the one who chases loves them more. That's not true. That's not true. So you do not want a man to chase you. That's an unhealthy thing. But that brings me to the number 2 reason why you don't want a man, or you don't want to let him chase you. Because then you can pour insecurity and toxic energy into that relationship. So what I mean by that is this. Once again, if the man has genuine intentions, truly loves you, and now you make him chase, you will increase the chances of that man becoming insecure with you. You will increase the chances of that man going to his feminine energy, coming off I don't want you guys to automatically think I'm saying being clingy and needy is feminine. So let me rephrase that. But he will go away from his masculine energy. That's a better way to say it right now. He will go away more from his masculine energy. That energy that you may have been attracted to initially will start to dissipate because he now feels more insecure, because he's put in a position where he has to chase. And if he has to chase, that means he's not sure you even want him. He's not sure you're serious about him. He's not sure that you're not just trying to play him. So now his insecurity gets the best of him. And what I've seen in many situations is the man who chases will now lash out. All right? But he's not lashing out because he doesn't genuinely care. He's lashing out of hurt and frustration. And so now the whole situation goes left, but it was set on that path because you create this dynamic of him having to chase rather than a mutually building relationship where both parties are putting forth effort, showing desire, trying to build something amazing together, which is the key to a successful relationship. Without that, you are headed for a lot of disaster. So again, by letting him chase you or making him chase you, you run a lot of risk of pouring insecurity, negative energy into the situation. And now, number 3, when you let him or make him chase you, many times he will switch up on you. So here's the problem. Once again, remember what I said. The guy who continuously chases many times is infatuated, all right, or obsessed. And so his mindset is, I'm going to do everything it takes to get you because I want you so bad. But once I got you, now it's your turn. Now he turns the tables. Now he's not putting in the same effort. He's not showing you the great guy he showed you for X amount of months because it was never about a healthy, successful relationship. He was simply locked in on getting you. And once he got you, he thinks it's his turn to reap the benefits. If you start the relationship one-sided, where he's chasing you, he will now flip it on you to where you find yourself chasing him, where you find yourself doing more than him. Now you are burdened with carrying the relationship because he feels, well, I carried it to this point. Now it's your damn turn. You see, it's a very unhealthy, toxic dynamic. It typically does not work. Again, I will repeat. Am I saying that it's never worked out? No. There are always exceptions to the rule, but the vast majority of situations will not turn out well in your favor if you go into it with the mindset of chasing. You will risk losing the right guys. You will risk getting caught up with the wrong guys. You will risk finding yourself in situations where, again, he switches up on you. You will risk the toxic energy and the insecurity that's poured into the situation. This is not in your best interest. Always focus on mutually beneficial relationship, mutual effort, mutual building together. That is the key. But remember in the beginning, I said to you, listen to the end because I want you to understand something very important about this chasing thing. When you make him chase you, all right, you got to ask yourself why. Why are you doing this? Because let me paint this picture real quick. Let's say there's a celebrity, and I'm just going to use a random one that I hear about a lot. Let's say Idris Elba. Now, I know he's married, so no disrespect to his situation, but let's just say he was a single man, and let's say you are someone who reveres him, who loves you some Idris Elba, right? If this man came to you, showed up at your doorstep or whatever and said, hey, I saw you, I want to be with you, I want to get to know you, let's make this work. You're not going to make Idris Elba chase you. You're going to latch on for dear life. You're going to see this opportunity like, oh my gosh, thank goodness, thank God, I cannot let this slip out of my hands. So the reality is this: when you let a man chase you, ask yourself, are you really that interested in him? What's really going on? Because if you had true, strong desire, the reality is this: for a woman, when you really like a man, when you're really into him, you have to talk yourself out of doing too much. You got to look at yourself in the mirror and give yourself a pep talk not to do too much. You have to try to hold back because you don't want to come across too strong or whatever. So when you can sit back and let someone chase you or play a game to get him to chase you, then you have to ask yourself, how interested are you in him? How much do you really desire him? And if it's really not that strong, if you're really not into him like that, why would you even try to have a relationship with him? That's already a setup for disaster. But there's more. Because sometimes it's not a lack of interest. It's not a lack of desire. The other reason you got to ask yourself as to why you want this man to chase you is, have you healed? The reality for so many women is that you have been hurt, you have been let down, and now you have walls up. And so now your inability or your struggle to embrace the whole mutual building, the mutual effort, is a symptom of what you haven't healed from in your past. And so now your guardedness says, he must show me and prove to me first that he is worthy of me letting my wall down. But here's a news flash. When you haven't healed, he can never reach that level of worthiness. He will never be good enough in your eyes, because even when he does everything right, the minute he does anything wrong, one mistake, and you're going to be like, oh, there we go. I knew it. He's just like the rest. Like, the walls will be reactivated and you're back behind them, back to being guarded, back to validating your hurt. And that's a problem. That's a battle he can't win. You have to heal yourself. You got to make sure you're not carrying past baggage into these new situations. I would argue that if you are healed and you are truly interested and really into this man, you won't even think about trying to get him to chase you. You won't even consider that for a second, because you will be too busy trying to embrace the moment, thanking God, looking at the opportunity in front of you and running with it. You're not going to try to play no games. You're not going to try to do all these little tips and tricks. No, you're going to put in your mutual effort. So always ask yourself, why am I even trying to make a man chase me? You got to do your part. And when you do, you will get what's best for you, and you will have healthier relationships and greater success in that area. So again, listen, I hope this was helpful to you. Always remember, everything I say to you is with love and the desire to help you, not to judge you, not to make you feel bad. It's to help you see the things I believe you need to see. Is to trust that what my spirit is telling me I need to say to you is being said. Hey, thank you for watching this video. Be sure to check this one out right here, and I'll see you there. So when a man says, let's go with the flow, when we don't need any titles, anything that's very non-committal or doesn't present a vision for where we're trying to go with this, is a man you should not